Yes.
Okay. Jackie Bonds' cooking show. First of all, you got to get the extra virgin olive oil. It's got to be green, because the olives are green. We got our broccoli here. We got our garlic powder. We got our Pecorino Romano cheese. You could use any kind of cheese. You could use Lugardelle. You could use an assortment of cheeses, except like Kraft and all that bullshit. Okay, I got my first batch. I'm making also chicken cutlets, Bisquick in the chicken cutlets. But first, if you're gonna make chicken cutlets, or chicken fingers, whatever you want to call them, you have to pop oil them first, because if you don't and you batter them and then you fry them from scratch, the Bisquick will burn before the chicken cooks. So you got to pop oil them first, okay? And wait till they're like golden brown. Make sure that when you cook them and you turn them over with your fork, the oil doesn't splatter all over the place. That's happened. I've seen that happen to my mother a few times and other good cooks. So, it's something that you got to be careful. So you got to make sure your flame is like just about right. You got to adjust it, make sure. And one other thing for people who don't know this, if you're cooking with oil, do not ever add any liquid to it, because it will splash right in your face. So be very, very careful of that. Okay, you turn them over. Here's a good one. It's like perfectly done so far. See that brown? That's what you want. Like, you want it to look like a good cooked pancake with the perfect, color and everything. Now what you do is, when you cook this, the batter you make with the Bisquick or any kind of like pancake batter, as long as it's not flavored with blueberries. You don't want blueberry chicken cutlets. And you put your salt, pepper, cheese, whatever. You make it. You could put an egg in it. You could put garlic powder, parsley, whatever flavors you like. Cilantro. You could do anything. Basil. Anything like that. So what we do is, right here, we get the chicken cutlet. It's already pop boiled, or chicken fingers, whatever you want to call them. You dip it in the Bisquick batter. Drip it off. Make sure that you don't get any excess on there. And you just lay it right in. Simple as that. Okay? Same thing with this one. Alright? You got to make sure, like I said, that they're pop boiled, because if you don't, it's like cooking a pancake with a piece of meat in it. The pancake's going to cook, but the meat inside is not going to cook. So that's why you got to do the chicken. You got to pop boil it. Again, I said it like 3 times already. But anyway, keep your oil going. And then like all these cooking shows, everything is prepared for you. So when you're doing this on your own, it's very difficult to do a cooking show. You know what I mean? And a reality show is based on real stuff. So most of these reality shows are set up, even with the cooking shows. Cooking shows are reality shows. And if everything is, you have a sous chef that chops everything up before you go in the kitchen, it's so easy to do it. All you got to do is study a recipe. Anybody can go on camera. Take this, and talk about it. And say, oh, it's my mother's recipe. But actually doing it from scratch is a totally different process. And coming through is more, you really believe in what you're doing than, just going in front of the camera and rehearsing it 60, 40, 50 times with directors and producers, like Emerald. The guy, God bless him, he's made a ton of money, and he's, he was like a pioneer of these cooking shows. Well, Julia Child, of course, and what's that other guy's name? I don't know. You know the guy, he's like an English guy, But, if everything's done for you, it's better to have like an old Italian grandmother in the kitchen, with an apron on and her hands all full of, stuff. Letting the kid come over, yeah, taste this, Jackie boy, come over here, yeah. Shit like that. So why I started cooking was because my mother passed away, and my grandmother passed away, and my sister, you know, cooked, and she knew my mother's recipes, but I was living on my own, and I didn't know how to cook anything. I couldn't even make, clams and macaroni, you know. I didn't even put oil and garlic. I just threw the thing of clams in, and I just heated it up, and that was my clams and macaroni. So, being that my ex-wife, she didn't, really cook the Italian foods, although she was a good cook in other areas, but I missed the Italian foods. We used to call them minestra, which was like Italian with any kind of vegetable, anything, you know. And I could eat that shit every friggin' night, you know. So I talked to my sister, and she told me how to cook certain things, and I learned from scratch. And then there was a time period where, you know, when I got married, I just loved cooking every night, you know. And if there was something that, you know, my wife liked to make, like she would make something American style, and it was really great. I love going shopping, I love doing all those things. But this is part one of my cooking show. I mean, of course it's not going to go anywhere but on Facebook, you know, but who knows, maybe one day some big producer, some big guy with money says, you know what, let me throw this kid on Channel 13 or, you know, PBS or something. And then you don't know who's going to watch it, whatever. So that's part one. Let me just show you one that's almost fully cooked. And then, of course, afterwards, I'm going to do the same thing with the Bisquick and the broccoli. Okay, this is great. This is one of my favorites. And my mother, you know, and my Aunt Rosemary, what we used to do is do the Bisquick with the broccoli and put soy sauce on it. Tremendous. Tremendous. Okay, it's like, what do you call that? Tempura. You know? Okay, that's my first little vignette of my cooking shows. Take one, or whatever. 2, 3, whatever. Ciao.